Okay, so today we're going to be going over the jazz standard Blue Moon. This is a very simple tune. It's an AA-BA 32 bar form, and we're going to be playing it in the key of A flat major. This song can be played in any key, and it's a vocal tune, so it's a good idea to be able to transpose this to pretty much any key, and we'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the video. So let's jump into the melody first. It's primarily using an A flat major scale, which you can grab pretty much all in third position. So I'm playing almost the entire thing in third position. And the melody starts on the 5th degree of the scale. Okay, that's the first phrase. Going into the second phrase, we have the B flat note. And then the final phrase. Okay, so I'm playing all of this in third position. I keep my index over the 3rd fret, and then each finger has its own fret after that. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Okay, moving into the second A section, it's exactly the same, except at the end of the phrases, we have a double note. And this is because of the lyrics. So like I said before, it's a vocal tune, so you want to make sure you're playing enough notes for all the syllables of the lyrics. So the next part sounds like this. Okay, and then we're getting into the bridge, the B section. We have those A's again. Okay, and then at the end of the B section, we change keys a little bit. We go to the key of B. So it's really just that G flat note or that F sharp note. So here's that phrase again. Then we change back to G natural. Okay, and then we're getting into the last A section, which is exactly the same as the first. Okay, so that's it for the melody. Pretty straightforward. Comes from the major scale. But let's get into the chords now. So we're in the key of A flat major, and the main chord progression that we're dealing with is a 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progression, also known as a turnaround. So our 1 chord is an A flat major 7. We can also use an A flat major 6, which I'll talk about in a second. And then our 6th chord is an F minor 7. This one can also be played as an F7 sometimes because it resolves down a 5th to the 2 chord, which is a B flat minor 7, and then an E flat 7. Okay, and there are plenty of different ways to play these chords. We're just going to go over the basic. These are drop 2 and drop 3 chords, but we're just going to be going over these basic shapes so that you can get through the song and you don't have to think about which shape I'm going to be playing at any given time. So let's try that again. Here's the 1, the 6, the 2, and the 5. And you can just strum quarter notes, 2 beats per chord like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you could actually do that for the entire A section. A lot of recordings just play those 4 chords for the entire A section. Now, I was basing this off of the Billie Holiday version, and in that version, at the end of the A sections, they do these chromatic dominant chords starting on the flat 7 of the key. So in the key of A flat, G is the 7th note. We flatten that, and we get to G flat, and we play a dominant 7th there. We move it down a half step to F7. Okay, then we move it down a half step to E7. Then then a half step down to the 5 chord, E flat 7. So that sounds like this. And then you're back to your 1 chord, and you can do the 1 6 2 5. And I actually do an A flat 6 this time. Now the reason for this is because the melody note is an A note, and sometimes that major 7 can interfere with the melody note, especially if you're playing with a singer. It can be pretty dissonant. So if you lower it down to the 6, it's a little bit easier to hear the melody note. Okay, so at the end, again, you have the 1 6 2 5. Okay, so that's the chords for the A section, and it just repeats again pretty much. The second time you can just stay on an A flat 6. You don't have to play the whole turnaround again at the end of the second A section. But let's get into the B section. We have the same chords, 2, 5, 1. And again, I'm playing the 6th chord this time because the melody note is an A or an A flat. The melody note is the root of the chord. So that major 7 would interfere. So you can do that 2 times, and then we change keys. So I think about this part as changing keys up a minor third. We're going to go to the key of B major, and we're going to do a 2 5 1 to the key of B major. But you could also think of it as the 4 chord turning minor. Okay, so it's a D flat minor 7 or a C sharp minor 7. And that becomes the 2 and a 2 5 1 to the key of B major. Okay, so that's towards the end of the bridge. After we do our 2 5 1 to B major, we're going to go back to A flat major by going to the 5 chord. And then we're going to do the 5 of the 5 chord, which is a B flat 7. And then back to the 5 chord. Okay. After that, we're now finally back at our A section, and it's exactly the same as before. So here's the final A section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that is, of course, if you're going to repeat the song, you can do the turnaround. If you're not, you can just end on the 1 chord, the A flat major 7 or the A flat 6. So as far as soloing goes over this tune, it's primarily in the key of A flat major. So really, you just need your A flat major scale. And then for the bridge, you might need the B major scale because it does change to B major. So you can play your B major scale actually the same exact way that you just played the A flat major scale. Now for those dominant chords that go down in half steps, you could play different scales over those. The easiest thing might be to play just a Mixolydian scale. So maybe practice the Mixolydian scale like this. Okay, that is a G flat Mixolydian. And then you just move it down a half step. Okay, now there are other options. You could play a Mixolydian with a sharp 4 or sharp 11. There's all kinds of different things you can do over that part. But just to keep it simple for now, I would start off with just that Mixolydian scale or Mixolydian mode and practice moving that down in half steps. Okay, so the last thing I'll talk about is how to transpose this song to different keys. Now it's a very simple song, primarily just 1 6 2 5. So if you know that, you can transpose that to other keys by just playing a scale. Say if it was a C major, or in the key of C major, C is your 1, A is the 6th note of the scale, so it would be A minor 7, D is the 2nd note of the scale, so it would be a D minor 7, G is the 5th note, so it's a G7. So you just put those chords where those notes go. So C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. That's primarily the entire tune. Once you get to the B section, you're going to have to do the 2, 5, 1 in up a minor third. So up a minor third from C would be E flat. You could also think of it as starting on the minor 4, like an F minor to a B flat 7 to an E flat major 7. Okay, so that's an idea of how you can start trying to transpose this song to other keys. But first, try it out in this key of A flat, get everything down, be able to play the melody, be able to play the chords, and then try to solo using those scales. And then once you've got all that down, then you can start trying to shift the chord progression to another key. Because like I said before, if you're playing with a singer, it's a good idea to be able to play this, at least the chords, in another key or many keys. Okay, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. You can also check out my Patreon where I have PDFs, backing tracks for all my videos. Thanks again. See you on the next one.